Welcome back everybody to another episode of Sneaker Updates. This will be Sneaker Updates number 13. If you happen to be new here, this has now become a weekly series on the channel, and if you're not familiar with this series, essentially we go over a variety of different sneakers, those of which may potentially include some Nike and OffWhite, Yeezys, Jordans, and more. But with that short little intro, why don't we jump right into it? Alright, so we are actually going to be kicking it off with Jordans first today, since I think that's where this week's most important updates lie. Then jumping to some Nike and OffWhite, then Yeezy. So let's get right into this. So let's actually kick this off with the Union Jordan 1. So evidently, this was probably the most hectic week of all of 2018, if not one of the most hectic weeks, and the Union 1s just added to that on Saturday. So the first thing I wanted to mention was I had two links that I gave to you guys in the description of my live stream on Saturday. And I also kept on stressing that you should have the countdown page up just in case they pulled some funny business, and what do you know? They did. They had a brand new product page, those of which, of course, as soon as it went live, I snagged it up and I tweeted both of them out to you guys. And I was extremely surprised to see that so many of you guys were able to cop. Considering this was a Shopify site, I really wasn't expecting to see that many W's, but it's come to the point where usually I try my best to like all of these success tweets, but I just couldn't. There were too many, which was obviously a fantastic thing, and it really just made me happy. So regarding the Union ones, we have some good news and we have some bad news. I'm assuming you want the bad news first. So the bad news is that they oversold. So that means some of yours will unfortunately get canceled. Now, of course, most of yours will not be canceled, so just keep an eye out for those shipping confirmations. But the good news is that the black toe pair is actually releasing through multiple retailers on the 24th. And I actually tweeted out some raffles for you guys so you could get a head start. Now, even some more good news for the Union Jordan 1s. Official images have loaded up onto Nike sneakers. And now, it wasn't just the black toe pair, they also loaded up for the blue pair. Now, we all know that this doesn't guarantee a release considering what happened with the OffWhite Mentas, those of which we'll talk about later, but it is a possibility that both colorways might indeed drop. So therefore, I want to say just keep a lookout for notifications because anything could happen and I want you guys to be safe. Now, I do understand that the blue pair is apparently Union exclusive, but still, they both loaded up, and usually they load up for a reason. Now, if you're wondering if I cop, no, unfortunately, I did not. I experienced all of the same errors as you guys did, but funny thing is my dad actually managed to cop, so I'm a little jealous, not gonna lie. Anyway, if you missed out, there are plenty of opportunities left to cop these, but moving on to the next update. What in the world happened with the Cactus Jack Jordan 4 in the green colorway? They were supposed to release yesterday, the 17th, this Saturday, but they did not. So you might be wondering, Keith, are they going to be releasing at all? So we have fantastic news. The fantastic news is that yes, they are going to be releasing before 2019, which is most likely going to be mid-December. Now, I think this is really great that they didn't release on Saturday, considering it was already hectic enough as it was, so I think it's a blessing in disguise. I think we should all be happy that they didn't drop on Saturday because a lot of us were going for the Rookie of the Year 1s. Also, the Delo Mios would have dropped at the same time, so it would have just been really too much for all of us to handle, especially because they're Leo drops where we want to enter in as many accounts as we can. So I'm glad that we didn't get these on the 17th, but of course, I will keep you guys updated on the date. Moving on, the Jordan 11 Concords had an exclusive access drop on Nike sneakers, not the Nike Plus app. This was actually a Leo drop, and this caused a lot of people to assume that this wasn't exclusive access and it was just a shock drop. Well, you guys have to keep in mind the reason why you might have thought that it was a shock drop was because the majority of people had exclusive access. The reason so many people had exclusive access is because the exclusive access is always proportional to how many pairs are going to be released. And obviously, since there's a million pairs being released of these, most people had exclusive access. I checked about 10 of my Nike accounts, and 3 of them had exclusive access compared to usually me not having access on any of my accounts at all. Now, after they dropped, they were definitely looking like bricks, and this made sense considering December 8th is right around the corner. I get it that early pairs usually can make a little bit of money on, and now you can make about $30 or so off them, which isn't bad at all. If you did happen to cop them, make sure you sell them before people start finding out about the December 8th release. I know, I couldn't believe that people didn't know that this was not the only release. All it was a smart marketing tactic by Nike. If you go into the comments of Sneaker News' post on these, you could see some people who really have no idea what they're talking about, and they're scapegoating Sneaker News, saying, oh, we relied on you for the drop, and truly they think that this was it. They actually believe this was the only release, but little do they know that the main release is coming December 8th. So here's a smart sneakerhead tip. If you happen to cop from here and you really wanted a personal pair, still, sell your pair, make 30 to 40 extra dollars, keep that in your pocket, then comes December 8th, have some patience, guys. You'll be able to cop for retail, no problem. There's going to be plenty of pairs. That's just what I would do as a smart sneakerhead. As much as I want these as a personal pair, you got to take advantage of these opportunities, guys. Moving on, we got our first look at the Mark Wahlberg Jordan 4 in all green, and these might actually be auctioned off, unfortunately, but if they do happen to make a public release, of course, I'll keep you guys updated. Feel free to turn on post notifications to stay 100% updated on those shoes and really any shoes in general. Now, with Jordans out of the way, why don't we move on to some Nike and OffWhite. So kicking it off, like I mentioned before, the Mentas unfortunately did not drop on the 10th. Well, actually, it's a good thing they didn't drop because obviously no one copped. But if they do happen to drop in the future, of course, I'm going to keep you guys updated on that. Now, just a brief reminder, on November 28th, according to Pirates, we have our next OffWhite drop. These are going to be the OffWhite Zoom Flies, and they're retailing for $170 each, and they'll release on the same date. Moving on, there was exclusive access sneakers passes for the new location in New York City. That is the new Nike store for both colorways in the OffWhite Vapor Maxes and UNC ones. Now, I'm personally expecting them to do more of these, so if you happen to be within that 25-mile radius, or if you're just outside of that and you're still willing to drive there and you watched my video on spoofing, I would definitely recommend staying alert for tweet notifications and stuff like that, just because I'm expecting more of this stuff to go down. But really, that was it for Nike and OffWhite. There wasn't too much going on. As we edge into the next month, there's going to be a lot more going on, but right now, moving to Yeezys, as you guys know, the Sesame 350 V2 drops Black Friday, November 23rd. So for this, you could actually get a head start on copying them right now. You could sign up on all the Foot apps. So that's going to be Foot Locker, Foot Action, Champs, and even if they brick, guys, or if you want a personal pair, of course, I would personally still go for some common sizes on these Foot apps, and you could sell them after they sell out online. That's usually when prices peak for Yeezys. I would also recommend following FTL codes or check-in codes on Twitter. That is to get the extra minute head start. Definitely a useful source to have. But anyway, moving on, the Zebras only loaded 15,000 pairs for Adidas US. Hopefully you guys didn't sleep for personal pairs, and also, this is just a prime example. That's why I wanted to mention this. Why I suggest going for shoes that have free returns, because I know that there's not always a lot of profit to be made in, like, say, the sizes 4.5, 6.5. I believe you can make around $60 or so, maybe $50. But still, I told you guys that you might be able to make some lunch money off them. But since you do have free returns, I always recommend going for these sorts of things just because it doesn't hurt to try. And of course, moving on, we have the Salts releasing November 30th. Just a brief reminder for those. But with Yeezys out of the way, why don't we move on to some miscellaneous sneakers? So kicking it off, Adidas is dropping lots of old Ultra Boost starting on December 1st. For example, one of those, which was highly coveted, was the purple Ultra Boost, the one that started it all. Then also November 23rd, the Ultra Boost Metal Pack will be dropping. And finally, we also have on November 21st, the Cream Ultra Boost dropping. Moving on to the next update, ironically, the day after I uploaded the video on how to spoof your location, there was a sneaker stash, not a pass, and if you guys were unaware, stash, they ship to you, you don't have to pick it up. Hence, everyone was able to go for these. So hopefully you guys did have some time that day to check out the video on how to spoof your location. It's definitely something that's useful to know. Even if you're not able to pick up your pairs at sneakers passes or whatever, there's going to be plenty of opportunities where you have to spoof your location, where they're going to ship to you. So I just tweeted out the address for you guys on what to put in when you're spoofing your location. And all of you guys who watched the video, and including myself, were able to cop. It wasn't too difficult, and we made a quick $40 to $50 or so. Or if you guys wanted these, they're a pretty clean personal pair, if I'm not gonna lie. So again, just for future reference, if you haven't already seen the video, I would recommend it. But anyway, with that, that is going to conclude today's video. There was so much that went down this week, and honestly, I personally saw a lot of success this week, not only from myself, but mostly from you guys. I mean, so many of you guys were at least able to take one W this week, and that's what always puts a smile on my face. So anytime you guys take a W, tweet at me. If I'm not busy, of course, I'm going to throw you a like on that or whatever. I just love seeing when you guys are finally able to cop your personal pairs or just make a quick buck or so you're able to save your money for future grails or whatever it is. With that, though, feel free to leave a like on this video if you happen to learn something, or if you just enjoyed it, feel free to subscribe and turn on post notifications to stay 100% updated on any of the shoes I mentioned today, or just future hype drops. With that, have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you guys later. Good luck on all these releases, of course.
Get your foot off my foot. Ah.
Get your foot off my foot. Yeah.
Why are you always in my way, knocking me over every single day? Get your foot off my foot. Ah.
Get your foot off my foot. Yeah.
I should have run the other way. Now there's just one thing to say. Get your foot off my foot. Ah.